The Black Anglo-Saxon. We back, part two, with playing the script, playing the game, and how all of these things intertwine and interweave. And today, I found a perfect example to my last video that I put up regarding this discussion. And I wanted to kind of highlight and use this as a mechanism so that we can better understand what I actually mean when I say that there are several games all happening and all being played at the same time. And I think that this is very important to understanding what I mean by great intentions can be thwarted by people coming in and taking over, rewiring and purposing your actual footprint and outcomes as it relates to what it is you're trying to do. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into it real quick. I'm not gonna waste no more time. Here we go. Let me share this, bring this up on the screen. So
are one of the primary beneficiaries of the body positivity movement.
All right, if you want to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? I'm Chiffon.
Nice to meet you, Chiffon.
So, what are you classifying as large food companies?
Okay. PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, General Mills.
Okay. Now, if they were beneficiaries and benefactoring and making all this money off of the body positivity movement, why is it that they spend billions on calorie counting apps, on a lot of things that we see in society as forcing the losing weight or talking about losing weight? Because that to me doesn't make sense and doesn't correlate. But also, people that are benefiting from this are the people in the body positivity movement themselves. A little bit about myself.
Wait, can I clarify one thing?
Please.
I'm talking predominantly about finance.
Okay.
Sorry.
Perfect. Thank you. Even that, I still will say.
now, what I would like to say to that initially is that what we have to understand when people are talking about actually benefiting from something, you have to usually scale the discussion up to the macro level, because the reason that it doesn't make sense to her probably is because she's not seeing how people can make money off of hedging bets on both sides and both ends. So the same company who will basically come in, hijack, and take advantage of your narrative in terms of the body positivity movement and bringing people into a space that is unhealthy will also profit on the other side, because everybody has a natural understanding that we should be at a particular weight. And so some type of health, some type of measures to get in line with that will be made. And that's where the apps, that's where the other devices come in, whether it be the the GLPs and all of these different mechanisms that people use to lose weight. And so they hedge their bets on both ends. And so it makes absolute sense, because then you also have these institutions and people coming in on the food end that are, again, you're consuming what you're consuming and you're eating to a point and you're having a neurological reaction to said thing, and you're being hijacked on two different levels. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue and let her finish this discussion. Here we go.
So I come from the wedding industry. So I created the first publication in the world for plus size brides. I've now gotten 13 wedding publications around the world. And my biggest thing is the wedding industry is very centric on this is what the wedding industry looks like. I have created a platform where and not just larger bodied body positivity, but body positivity for all sizes. And I'm going to come specifically from the wedding industry, which is very different, I know, but it still is a very weight centric.
Okay.
Yes.
So your argument is the wedding industry is the primary
No, I'm
beneficiary?
not saying that. I'm saying that's where my knowledge comes from.
Okay.
But the body positivity
Yes.
movement is really for us. We are the main, and I'm saying we because I'm a large body
I
person.
totally understand.
That's where it's
Can
really
I show
coming
you
from.
the ways
Please.
they're exploiting it?
Oh, please,
Well,
please, please.
okay, so there have been two really big exposés, one by the Washington Post and one by the Examiner. So they're coming at this from numerous angles. So the first one is they've gone after a lot of the intuitive eating dietitians.
Okay.
So can I give you some statistics?
Please, please, please.
Okay. So Washington Post analyzed more than 6,000 social media posts by 68 registered dietitians with a combined reach of over 9 million followers. 40% of them were using the anti-diet language, right? Like food freedom, no food rules, ditch the diet, healthy in any size, so on and so forth. Very often not disclosing the fact that they were paid by the big food companies.
Okay.
Okay. So they're basically going after the intuitive eating dietitians. I can give you Abby Sharp.
But that's okay though. But I want you to listen.
Okay,
because
yeah.
they are doing that.
Yes.
But the aspect that the body positive movement is really for us, that is not even anywhere we need to equate into it.
I
It
don't
really
agree
is.
with you. When they're
That's
using
fine.
your movement.
But do you, and I'm going to say this clearly and for right now, I don't care who uses my fucking movement. I want the movement to be there. And that right there, they can take it. It's marketing and sales 101. Of course they're going to use the fucking movement.
But then
Boom. And right there is where I really wanted to kind of touch in and hone in. You hear her say, I don't give two dangs about anybody using the movement, and that it doesn't matter how they use the movement. And that's marketing 101. Everybody's going to use the movement. And even though she did not explicitly say it is what it is or just play the game, this is yet another example of how we continue to acquiesce to said script that continues to be ran in a way that is counterintuitive and counterproductive to the movement, to the legislation, to the community building, and all of these things that we would like to put in place. Now, the problem with what she is saying is that you have to understand that when you have that position and when you hold that stance, you have to be aware that for all of the gains that you are making, and we're gonna keep all pun intended, you have to understand that corporation or these entities that are coming in on the back end and attaching themselves to it are eating those gains up. It's like you working out for an hour and then coming back to have the same big food, put those Doritos right in front of your face, but it's being force fed. We see this happen in a lot of different other activist movements when we talk about BLM, when we talk about the CBC, when we talk about the National Urban League, and we can think of many different others, but it's allowing yourself to get co-opted by people who are playing a game on top of your head. Because what she's saying is she's making her money off of her wedding industry, and I'm pretty sure that she has other organizations and other networks where people are and have businesses built outside of this body positivity movement, whether it sit in finance, whether it sit directly in fitness, whether it sit in consumer culture, weddings, whether it sit in anything. You have people who are incentivized to acquiesce and allow themselves to be co-opted because of the fact that they are making money. And you have to listen to when people talk. You have to always pay attention to what their incentive is and what it is they're actually and why they're actually allowing themselves to be co-opted, because you get a chance to see the problematic nature and where it leads to and how likely they are to actually achieve the goal. Because like I said, for every time that you allow another corporation who has ill intent to come on top of and piggyback off of, and as she mentioned in this specific case, use influencers in a negative way to basically undermine and undercut your work, you have to be conscious and aware of that, and you have to call it out, and you cannot be so complicit in saying that it's okay, that it's cool, because there is a level of complicit um behavior in saying, well, they're going to do it. That is what it is. That's just the game, or that's the script. That's how these things go. I don't give a damn. And so you have to be better at being able to pinpoint when somebody is doing that to your movement, because it does happen, but we should not normalize it and allow it to become the thing that is that we do, if that makes any sense. Like, just because you feel bad after you eat fried chicken, fried foods, or heavy amounts of sugar doesn't mean that you should continue to keep doing it, because you become numb to the symptom of doing the bad thing, right? That's not how we get sustainable wins. That's not how we get things that last and have longevity, especially when we're talking about structural change, when we're talking about systemic change. Because on the individual level, yes, her life may be better, but structurally, this institution is co-opting the entirety and network and channels of her specific movement, or the specific body positivity movement at large. And that's what she's trying to get her to realize and understand as it relates to this. But let's keep listening. Let's go ahead and share this. And bing.
You don't get to co-opt our movement.
That's not for me to do. I don't care about that. The thing is we don't care. But it's not about we should. We are doing what we're doing because this is our family. This is our world.
There are
It
people
doesn't
that
matter
are
about what.
exploiting
Do you
the
think I can?
family.
But the thing is, we don't care.
You,
We are the movement.
but there are a lot of people that are being hurt by this. And these guys essentially are engineering food to be addictive, to quite.
And you know what? And I will say this. I will
Okay.
say this.
Yeah.
I will give you the claps on that. I will say, yes, that is true. But what I do want to
That
say
little finger
is
thing.
that it is happens all the time. A movement starts and someone comes in and takes it, and someone comes in and comes in it, and
So
someone comes in and runs with
don't deny it. You
But
just don't care. That's what you're
no,
saying.
I'm saying it's fine for them to do that. But the bigger issue that I want you to realize is that the body positivity movement is ultimately for us. If someone wants to come and get on our coattail, that's perfectly fine. But for us, it doesn't need to go away.
Who is on your coattail matters. Who is on your coattail matters. Why they are on your coattail matters. And when they choose to get on your coattail matters. Because if somebody is piggybacking off of you, let's say for good intention, and let's say it's a different movement that is promoting wellness and holistic approach to living, then yes, that makes sense. Please jump on, get on the bandwagon, and we're going to, drive down the street, and we're going to go across, and we're going to go on this tour. But if you are allowing somebody to jump on your coattail who's literally trying to keep you from ascension, then you have a problem, man. It is not the same thing. And thinking in a very lack thereof nuanced way, you find yourself in a situation where you are doing everything you're supposed to, but you're now complicit. And I don't know if you don't understand or people don't understand, but the absence of perception does not mitigate the consequence. Just because you don't understand how this works does not mean that it doesn't have a damaging consequence over time. Because she brought up the engineering of foods and Doritos and things like that, and we know they're engineering these foods to be disruptors to our thyroid systems, endocrine systems, and all of these different things that produce a poor neurological reaction and doesn't allow our body to digest these foods and chemicals properly, which aid in obesity. And these are the same people who are attaching themselves to you through other institutions. And that's what she's trying to explain to you.
doesn't need to go
One's
anywhere.
asking
It
for it to
doesn't
go away.
But
I'm
it is being-
suggesting.
Now, see, there's a suggestion.
Okay.
I like it. I like a
Okay,
suggestion.
I'm suggesting that it could evolve, that you guys could call out when you're co-opted, that you could centralize messaging so that it's not all over the place.
Now that, Jillian,
right?
I am not opposed to.
Okay,
I'm not opposed to
but
that.
I'm not saying it should. That's not a claim.
No, but the thing is I want you to know who the true beneficiaries are. You're saying that they are the main
I'm speaking
beneficiaries.
financially.
Yeah, and
I
that's
apologize.
okay. And that's okay. But you're saying the claim says that the large food companies
Yes.
are the main beneficiaries of the body positive movement. That is not correct
It is. It's very correct.
I understand.
because we are the main people. We are the main beneficiaries of the body positive movement. If someone wants to come and get on our coattails, go ahead.
Disagree
do
with you on that. I
And
think
that's
that's a
okay.
mistake.
And that's okay.
I think that you guys could tell them. You could expose what they're doing. Can I read you something else?
Please.
Okay.
I'm here
Let
to
me- can I
hear.
just show you
like, this
how
is a great dialogue.
diabolical this is, okay? I have a friend
Mhm.
that's on the inside. He sent me this. He goes, I just want to show you the ways in which this is being in the inside of I can't say that a big, food
company.
You got
Yes,
it.
yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Okay, so here's the intentional message overlap, right? So healthy at every size. Quote, you can be healthy at any size. Corporate benefit removes health concern barrier to sales. Stay with me, okay?
Uh-huh.
Dieting doesn't work. Protects snack foods from being cut. Healthy at any size. Weight and health are unrelated. Corporate benefit deflects from products causing obesity. Healthy at any size. Weight stigma causes disease, not weight. Wait.
Okay, I'm gonna let you. I'm
Okay, I'm
finish.
just showing you. This is
What I,
This
what
is an
I
internal-
want to bring, what
Yeah.
I would love, and I'm saying love because I want it, but I love it more. If there is such a resistance to the body positive movement, and I'm speaking specifically kind of from your
to me.
standpoint,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
If there's such a resistance to the body positive movement, why are you saying, why are you letting them take money from you?
Wait,
Why-
where's
why
the
is it-
resistance? I'm
Well, I mean,
telling you. I'm
resistance of
telling you.
acknowledging or saying that it's actual, that it needs to be.
I think that there are absolutely. I think that intuitive eating is a goal, not a treatment plan. I think that having access to health, which is what Health and Size at every size was initially intended to do. I think all those things are important. I think, unfortunately, the fact that the movement is decentralized
Okay.
and it's prone to being co-opted, it can do harm in the ways that I have shown you.
And that's
what I'm
okay.
saying.
And that we can agree to.
All right,
I can agree
we got
with
to
that.
pause there.
That's good.
We got to
Okay.
pause there. You've been voted out by the majority.
Well, I really appreciate this.
No, this was
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you very much. So I really want to focus on what you've just been saying about the co-opting of the movement, because what you seem to be critiquing is the people who've co-opted the movement, not the people who actually built the movement,
Well-
not the people who actually are the movement. So the idea
What
that
is the movement, though? So the thing is,
Well, for
I
what-
don't want to name names, but there are many, okay, influencers.
So people do that too often. And what you have to understand in a discussion like that is that, yes, she is critiquing capitalism, but she also is critiquing the movement. And you have to critique the movement because the movement is the vehicle in which they are using to achieve said goal. And if the movement does not address the chinks in its armor, then you become complicit. Because when you see on the opposite side, right, that when corporations or when institutions have these chinks in their armor, let's take the Target boycott, right? They come back and they use divide and conquer and they address the chinks in a way that it cannot or you cannot exploit said vulnerabilities. So even when we look at how the NFL turned out and panned out as it relates to their player agreement or whatever you call it, after the whole Colin Kaepernick situation, they made sure that there was not leverage enough for the players to come back and be able to mount that in the same way. And what it does is it creates a patch And I talk about that in the last video because they create patches for vulnerabilities within the system when they feel like people are circumventing and actually moving and deviating away off script. This is, and what they are doing is another way to get your movement back on script or the car back on the road because you deviated. And so you have to critique both at the same time. You can't just do one, unfortunately, because you all are driving the car. And so that has to be a thing. But let's go.
Influencers who have said these things. So who's the
Okay.
movement?
Influencers and activists are not necessarily the same thing. We were allegedly invited here as activists and advocates, not always the same thing, right?
Oh,
Some
I
influencers
don't
are.
disagree, but it's become, as I mentioned, a patchwork quilt of like, I'm an activist, I'm an influencer, I'm a dietitian. It's whereas like when you look at something like AA,
Well, let me
It's very
guide you to
clear.
something very clear about the Health at Every Size movement. Health at Every Size is actually a registered trademark of the Association for Size Diversity and Health.
I know.
So when people are misusing that,
I know
we
that.
are a movement that doesn't have the same resources as the health and wellness industry or the health and wellness grifters or the major food industry, right? We don't have those same resources to fight every time somebody misuses our terminology,
Mhm.
our philosophies, our practices, our values. But there are some of us out there who are doing that, right?
I never see
And-
the caveats. I never.
And so what they have to understand, and if y'all want to finish it out, I can finish it out. Just let me know in the comments. But I want to stop there because I want to hone in and focus on awareness. A lot of this stuff is about awareness and accountability. For them, they don't want to have the accountability or take any responsibility for the institutions coming in and hijacking. And is it right? No. Is it something that happens? Yes. Is it something that we should normalize? No. Because what happens is for everything that we build, they are structurally taken down. So for every 10 bricks you putting up, they taking down 30. So we end up in a negative and we end up in this space where we're looking at, wow, we haven't gotten anywhere because of the fact that for everything that happens, they have an answer to it. And us saying, well, that's just part of the game, or that's just marketing, or, that is what it is. All of these different little cliches that people use, we have to stop doing that. It's a reason why companies operate and do what they do because it is to minimize the progress. Like, even if you take this platform for an example, they prioritize thumbnails and basically the superficial parts of content because it devalues and they understand that the friction that's required to actually get to the goal that we saying that we need, that we want to, requires us to put down a lot of the other conversations that we have, but they reward it and there is an incentive structure. And we have to always be aware of the incentive structures that are in play. So again, like I said in my last video, you can move in righteousness, you can move in integrity, and still, if you do not understand, you can end up being complicit in a lot of the games that go on. Because for them, they're playing one game and they don't realize that it's another game being played on top of their head. And for the people who are doing what they're doing, to them, there are other games that are being played. And so we have to always be aware of that. I just wanted to bring that to y'all. But let me know what y'all think. And if you have any other examples, please send them to me. All of my email and information and stuff is in my bio. So y'all enjoy. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And thank you.